Thank you, Barbara. Boy, what a great turnout. Thank you for being here. I'm going to be very brief because this is Randy and the Governor's Day, and I'm just honored to be Randy's friend. Our sons go to Bible study together, so our families have gotten to know each other very well. And before I continue, I want to introduce two people. Senator Mike Jackson, thank you for your service for so many years. And I also want to introduce, I brought our morning host on KSEV, Mac Makowitz, 10 years in the Navy SEALs. He lived right here in Pearland, and he's now on AM 700 every morning. I'll tell you a brief story about Randy's determination to stand up for what's right. In 2009, his first session, I was having a hearing on the sonogram bill, which I'm happy to say we passed this year. Governor Perry signed it into law. It's the toughest sonogram bill in the nation to protect life and improve women's health care in our state. And while we were in hearings, there's Randy Weber. Now he's over in the House. What's he doing over in the Senate this early in the session? Well, he came to testify on behalf of the sonogram bill. Now, that's just not done. House members seldom, if ever, come over to put their stamp on a piece of legislation and say, you all need to pass this, I believe in it, I want it to happen. And Randy, that said everything I need to know about you right off the top. As Mac was saying this morning on the radio, we are fighting for a constitutional republic. We all have to be sure that we turn out and vote. We have to take back our country. And to do that, not only elect a Republican president, a Republican Congress, and 51 Republican senators, but they need to be the right people. There's a runoff for this seat. A runoff means there are two people. There's one person who's the right person to send to Congress on behalf of this community and Texas, and that's Randy Weber.
That's right.
Wow, thank you, Senator. How do you follow the voice of Texas? I see he's already buttering you up for his favorite bill again, Governor. Well, you bet he does. It was great legislation. I want to say thanks to our hosts for Butler Courtyard for opening up their facility. Is this not a great facility?
Yes.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you, Barbara, for being here to take part. We appreciate y'all's support and endorsement. I appreciate that. I'm going to roll it out early. Barbara Meeks, our great county chair of Galveston County, is officially giving us her endorsement. That'll be coming out of the my good friend Senator Dan Patrick gave us his early on too. The governor, you'll be hearing more about that. And we just appreciate all the support and thank y'all for being here and the support you've given me. And Senator Patrick's exactly correct. It is time we take our country back. That's right. Yeah. Governor Perry has been on the cutting edge and the forefront in the state of Texas. He has been a super conservative. We live in a great state that's showing up in the statistics. We're being recognized across the country. I'm proud to be a Texan and proud to call him my friend. As the senator said, we have got to get Obama kicked out of office. We've got to get his liberal agenda stopped. I know that you stand with me in fighting to repeal Obamacare and stopping the liberalism that's sweeping our country. And what I tell people is, you know, there's a term for Obama, just not a second one.
Oh, I never heard that
one. Senator Patrick is right. It was last July when we announced we would. Enough people had called us and put pressure on us. I had finally convinced my beautiful bride of 35 years, girlfriend of 37, that we needed to run for this spot. Enough people had called, and we said we would run for this a year ago almost. And as we've traveled throughout this district, we've seen the fear in people's eyes, on their faces. We've gone door to door. We've seen the concern that people have for the future of our country. We've seen that on the faces of business owners. We've seen that on the faces of parents and grandparents who, quite frankly, fear for their children and their grandchildren's future. As well they should. You're right, Governor. They wonder about how in the world we're ever going to be able to pay down an almost $17 trillion debt, especially when it seems as if our country is mired in the cold, icy water of a recession. We've got to get this job-killing president out of office and repeal his liberal agenda.
That's right. Yeah.
I know that you're concerned, and I am too. It's that's why I entered this race, quite frankly. That's exactly the reason that Brittany and I felt so strongly led to enter this race, because of that, losing our country. I will never stop fighting for our great district, Congressional District 14, or our country, and the great state of Texas. Not that we need a lot of help. You're doing a fine job, Rick. I appreciate that. You bet. You betcha. The 2012 election is going to be a pivotal piece of our nation's history. Critical. It's critical that we send proven conservatives to Congress who have a record of fighting for our principled conservative principles. And I believe I'm that principled conservative. You know, you get beyond what some might call the political rhetoric, and I actually have a political record that speaks for itself. Senator Patrick alluded to it, talked about it. And many of you know me. You know my tenure in the House, my tenure on City Council, and you know that I am a true conservative. My record, my conservative record. In this race, we do have two choices, as Dan says. When you look at my conservative record, I helped our great Governor Perry and our legislature cut $27 billion from our budget. That was the second session I was in. The first session, we also cut the budget 2 times in a row, third time since 1940s, I think, something like that. We reduced spending in Texas. It can be done. In the legislature, I opposed tax increases that would have harmed 40,000 small businesses. We were able to pass landmark legislation that protected women and children who had become victims of human trafficking. I helped lead the fight in getting more boots on the ground in our border to help seal our border. We did a good job. I have a track record. You can see what I stand for. My opponent, on the other hand, in the primary cannot make that same credible claim that she has a conservative record to lean on. She voted for the largest budget in Pearland's history, believe it or not, and then voted to increase property taxes to pay for it. Tax and spend. Tax and spend. Does that sound familiar? More spending, higher taxes. And folks, that is a page out of the playbook of none other than Nancy Pelosi. It is something we cannot stand for. Thank you, Barbara. I know, yes, I see that hand right there. This is news to the liberals, but we cannot tax and spend our way to prosperity.
That's right.
I'm sorry. And folks, I have to believe, and I hope you agree and will stand with me, that it is exactly my conservatism, my track record that is going to be best suited to go to do battle with Nick Lamson in the fall and knock him out of being the Congress. Of course, he's an automatic vote for Pelosi back as Speaker of the House. And maybe even more scarier, he represents that big government approach that has taken us down a path of unbelievable spending that we cannot sustain. We've been going down that path